Welcome to Whispers Under the Starlit Sea. This is not a story meant to be rushed. It lives in quiet conversations, in pauses between words, in moments that happen after the world has gone to sleep. What you are about to hear is a collection of whispers, of waiting, warmth, and the kind of connection that doesn't ask for names or promises. So find a comfortable place. Let the noise soften, and if at any point the sea feels familiar, stay. The stars are listening. Written by Ujjwal Goswami. Pondicherry Rock Beach, around 2:30 a.m. December. They came from different corners of the same sleepless city. Uttar sat with his sketchbook, half filled with swirling waves and faceless strangers. He didn't draw to impress anymore, just to pass time that refused to sleep. A cup of cutting chai from the stall near the lighthouse kept him company, along with the low hum of the sea. Falguni brought with her the scent of sandalwood and crushed flowers. She would always choose the same spot. Third bench from the left. The wind played with the edges of her dupatta as she stared up, tracing constellations she didn't know the names of. They never spoke. For nearly 3 months, they watched the same stars, shared the same silence, and walked away at dawn. Until one particularly god-awful night, when nothing had gone right, Falguni turned, looked at him, and said, "Hi." That's how it started. Not love? Not yet. Just a conversation between two people and the night sky. And then, stories. One each night. Stories that were sometimes funny, sometimes heartbreaking, sometimes real, sometimes not. But every story somehow brought them closer. Closer under the starlight. Chapter 1. The bench between us date is 14th December location, somewhere in Rock Beach, Pondicherry. Narrated by Uttar. Some silences are not empty. They are waiting. The sea is different at night. It doesn't roar like in the movies. It breathes, slowly. Like a tired old man with stories to tell, but no one patient enough to listen. I like that about it. You can sit beside it for hours and say nothing. It doesn't care. It doesn't ask for anything back. That's probably why I started coming here. At first I came because I couldn't sleep. Then because I didn't want to. And then because she was here. Same girl, every night. Same place. Third bench from the left, always. Wrapped in a shawl, sometimes a book in her hand, sometimes just her palms resting in her lap. Eyes always on the sky. She never looked around, never spoke. And I never spoke either. Not to her, not to anyone. We shared the beach like two people in a waiting room. Not waiting for anything in particular. Just trying to outwait the night. Until that night. I remember it clearly because everything had gone wrong that day. The kind of day that feels like a prank pulled by the universe. A rejected pitch, a client ghosting, and a forgotten lunch that turned into a dinner of leftover biscuits. I was grumpy, underfed, and half dead when I reached the beach. The usual chaiwala had packed up early. No tea, no sketchbook, no distractions. Just me and the sea and that same girl. And then, she said it. Hi. It wasn't dramatic. No spark of violins or sudden camera zooms. Just a soft hi, like someone testing if her voice still worked. I turned to her. Hi? I replied, sounding more surprised than I meant to. She smiled, half amused. You've got the face of someone who just lost a fight with a coffee machine. I laughed, not far off. At a furious client and no dinner. Ah, she said, folding her arms. You're in the post-midnight hunger and regret zone. Welcome to the club. We sat in silence again for a few seconds, but this time, it didn't feel heavy. It felt easy. What about you? I asked. You always look like you're solving celestial mysteries. She chuckled. Today I cried in my boutique's trial room because a customer yelled at me over a blouse. Then I gave her a discount. So, yeah, I needed the stars. Oof, that's worse than my day. At least my clients can't yell in person. She turned toward me fully now. What do you do? Graphic designer, freelance, mostly logos and social media campaigns. You? I run a boutique, small one. Mostly saris, dress materials, stitched with affection and caffeine. We shared a smile. It felt familiar, even though we had only just spoken for the first time. Why do you come here? She asked suddenly. To be honest, to sit where things don't feel like they're falling apart. The sea is consistent, stars too. And I like how no one tries to fix you here. She nodded, and her voice dropped to a softer register. I come because I can't sleep, and because the sky doesn't care if I'm falling apart. For a moment, we just watched the water. She added, I like watching people, especially the ones not in love. I raised an eyebrow. Not in love? Yeah, people in love are always obvious. Holding hands, whispering, looking perfect. But the ones not in love, they're fascinating. They sit in silence. They fidget. They sigh. They're writing stories without realizing. You believe in love? I asked. She tilted her head. I believe in stories. Love is just one kind of story. That made me pause. I hadn't thought of it like that before. I looked at her properly for the first time. Not just a figure on a bench, but a person who had cried in a trial room and still gave a discount. I'm Uttar, I said, holding out my hand. She looked at it, then shook it gently. Falguni. Our hands didn't linger. They didn't need to. So, she said, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. Tell me a story sometime. I have a feeling you have a few. I smiled. Only if you promise to tell one back. And just like that, something shifted. We weren't just two strangers sitting apart under the stars anymore. We were two insomniacs, exchanging moments, beginning a quiet kind of friendship. One story at a time. This is where the night pauses. Not because the story is finished, but because some moments ask to be felt, not carried forward too quickly. What has been shared here is not an ending. It is a breath. The sea will still be here. The stars will remember. When you are ready, we will continue.